that after the dive, my lab group goes through and we do what's called annotation of these videos. So we rewatch the dive basically in slow motion, and we identify all of the animals that we see and characterize the seafloor as we go, the substrate that all of those animals are living upon. And that basically takes these video streams and converts them into a digital data product that people can use to compare this site to other sites in Palau's water, for instance. But one of the important things about that process of annotation is that we can label things, and then we can send small bits of video and pictures to experts who have lots of taxonomic experience in the particular group, and that enables us to better identify things after the fact if we can't just identify them on the fly.
Let's go for a zoom, please.
The other really marvelous thing, oh, I'll get to that in just a moment after we zoom on this coral here. This looks like a bubblegum coral or Paragorgia. Got a really great brittle star wrapped into its arms.
Okay, Mike.
What do the brittle stars do while they're on the coral?
So there's a lot of debate about the nature of this symbiosis between corals and brittle stars. And for some corals, there's one in particular, a Metallogorgia, which we don't have right here at the moment, but it's similar to the one we just saw, in that these corals always have a brittle star associated with them. So some of these symbioses start when the coral or the brittle star is very young. That coral that we just saw, I think I had called it Paragorgia, but one of our taxonomic experts is saying probably Hemicorallium. These symbioses, it is thought that the brittle star gets the advantage of a higher perch up in the water column, where it may be able to feed on passing detritus and plankton. So when you get a little higher off the water column, you get higher flow, and that's definitely what the coral is going for. But the other possibility is that the brittle star then is assisting the coral by keeping potential invertebrate predators away from the coral.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Keep looking for a good place to take a rock sample, but this is all really consolidated. I don't think we're going to be able to break any of this off. Big actinostolid anemone right there. That sponge looked like it was probably Walteria. This is definitely a different seamount than the ones we were diving on to the east and to the north of the islands. Most of the seamounts in this depth range, we're at 1,450 meters approximately right now. Most of the corals we were diving on the east and the north in this depth range were carbonate. It was all old reef, and this is very much pillow lava.
So to answer...
Check out this coral right here and these associates that are growing. Whoa. Oh, that's in the background.
That's huge.
Yeah.
The little one in the
This is a
background?
bamboo coral. You
Or
can
the-
see the little nodes at its base that make it look like a stalk of bamboo.
Does
Sorry.
it also have a coral skeleton?
Yeah, so we'll get a zoom here when we're steady,
I'll zoom in, please.
and you'll see the polyps. And if you look down at the base, you can see the joints that make it look like it's bamboo. And then the polyps are up higher, but that's all a carbonate skeleton. The joints, the dark pieces, are actually a combination of, but it's mostly of different materials, but it's mostly proteinaceous in nature, and it holds the segments together.
What's our best guess for how tall this whip coral is right now?
Oh, goodness.
This is pretty wild.
It's really impressive. With all the curly cues, it gets a little challenging. Can we zoom in right on the tip of the coral,
Sure,
the growing
let's
tip?
zoom in more. I've come up like almost 3 meters up from where I started.
Yeah.
That's a
There's a number of whips like this that are bamboos, Lepidisius, and some others. I don't know which one specifically this is. We
we'll, come
have
back,
a number of taxonomic experts who are on the call with us that can make me sound way smarter than I am. And just to give a shout out to some of those folks who are on the science chat right now: Asako Matsumoto, Chris Kelly. Let's see here. We've got Jonathan Womack, Tina Gagliotti, and Steve Oskovich are all scientists who have joined us online. A number of them are experts in deep sea corals. I'm much more an expert on fishes, and so they can help us identify things as we go along, which is really useful.
And all of those folks are joining through our platform called our Scientists Assured platform, which allows researchers from all over the world to have join a chat room where we're in dialogue with them. And this is really amazing because we can only there's only space for so many people on the ship at any given time, and we can't all be experts in everything. So it's incredibly valuable to be able to have scientific conversations with folks from around the world. They're able to request samples, guide our observations, and really provide a ton of additional value during these dives.
Just to answer a few questions from our viewers, we are exploring an unnamed seamount west of Babel Daob Island, outside of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. This dive track was chosen to traverse because it has a variety of different habitats at different depth ranges. We want to look at the biodiversity of this place and see what we can find.
Hey Josh, if you see
Yeah.
a piece of rock that looks like it might be something we could sample, that would be great.
Okay.
Maybe not any of the loose talus, because that may have just fallen downhill from some
Right.
unknown depth above. Yeah, you know the routine, of course.
Yeah, kind of like softball sort of size.
Yeah.
Menzel, so as someone who is from Palau, what are some of your first impressions of exploring this place?
honestly, it feels like the new frontier. I come from a family of fishermen, so I think of myself as someone who knows the ocean pretty well. But looking at this, I've never seen it before, and I wish my friends are watching as well. It's a great opportunity for me.
Awesome. What kind of feelings are you going through right now?
Happy, but cautiously happy.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes information like this is exciting, but it also opens up a whole can of worms that sometimes can work against us. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that we have you to help us like navigate those contexts. So thank you so much.
No problem.
Are these sand ripples?
Yeah,
And
yeah, sand ripples.
how do they form at this depth?
Current.
Oh yeah, no waves though.
No waves,
No waves.
but all current. Yep.
Amanda, I just want to add, our pilot wants to be some kind of a dugong. The dugongs have a special connection to Palauan culture. We believe that it evolved from a human woman. So it's a significant part of how we see its existence in our
The
ocean.
little red thing is a mysid. It's in
That
the
is so
water
beautiful.
column.
Thank you so much for sharing.
That might be a shrimp.
A shrimp.
Zoom on that real quick.
Yep.
Whoa.
Okay, so this is Nematocarcinus. This is a common genus of shrimps that we see in the deep sea, and we've seen a lot of them here in Palau. Their legs are about 2 times the length of their whole body. They're incredible, so they almost look like spiders walking across the seafloor.
I noticed that both the shrimps and also the sea spiders have this kind of a leg
Carbohydrates.
morphology. Is this an adaptation for any particular reason?
Yeah, I think in the case of many of these shrimps, this is a low energy environment, and with these really long legs.
Got a
they
fish center frame there, just to the right of the lasers.
Oh yes, please. Let's take a look at that.
Small cuskeel maybe.
Yeah, we can zoom
Yep.
out, please.
Yeah, their legs can help them just maneuver over the bottom, but because they don't have the really strong currents of you know, the shallow waters, they can get away with those really thin legs. They still work. This is a rat tail. I'm not sure which one. We've been seeing a lot of kumba in this area, which is a common genus. Rat tails are very speciose. There's like 300 species worldwide. Wouldn't surprise me if there were several dozen species in Palau's waters. And they're really hard to tell apart from external characters. Is there any more zoom at all?
How do you tell them apart?
We can try.
Yep. Just
Well,
call it out, Josh.
the keys
That's it.
include such things as how many
There you go.
branchiostegal rays they have in their
Wow.
gills.
Okay, we
That
got
might
one,
have been
please.
kumba, but I'm not sure.
That was me bumping the bottom.
The
No
nature of
worries.
teeth on their front jaws, and many other things that are terribly inconvenient to those of us using video.
Try and catch up a little bit here.
But rat tails are Jeff's specialty.
They are very amazing fish. They live everywhere in the deep sea. I've just been given an invitation to talk about them, so I'm going to take it.
Actually, I just what we were talking about yesterday, Jeff. I've seen a number of these in some of the fishing vessels as bycatches. So it's interesting how it got there. I don't know how, but I've seen it.
This is in Palau, you're
Yeah,
seeing them as
yes,
bycatches.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, we need to talk because I would love to get some specimens
For sure, yeah,
from them if
yeah.
I could buy them from the
I'll see
fishermen.
if I can get some for you.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be great, actually.
Can you eat them?
You
I
can.
don't know. I never tried.
You're saying no.
Definitely
So,
a tasty fish, huh?
Yeah, so there are a number of rat tails that have been commercially fished around the world. There is still a fishery for a couple of rat tail species, mostly the round-nosed grenadier in the North Atlantic. They bring in tens of thousands of tons of them a year. A lot of the species don't taste great. I have a story I can tell. When I was in graduate school, one of my committee members decided that all scientists should know what their fish, he was a fish guy, what their fish tastes like. So he suggested that I eat my study animal. Now, I had been collecting a number of them, and coming up from the deep sea, they were dead. So this was not going out of my way to eat this.
Gotta zoom in,
What
please.
do we have here?
It looks like a
This is either
skeleton.
old sponge, or is it a piece of whalebone, or some other kind of...
Wow.
Wood?
very cool little, are those some sort of zoanthid on the bottom there in pink?
It's an octocoral.
Yeah, octocoral.
Yeah, it's an octocoral. Any chance we can nudge that with a manipulator arm just to see if that is sponge or something else? It looks like it's got a bit of manganese crusting on it.
Look them wide, please.
It's looking much more like a piece of bone. Sometimes we do find pieces of whale bone that get very manganese crusted on the deep sea floor, and we think that they can persist on the sea floor for actually over 1,000 years.
Wow. What kind of whales can be found in this area?
There's actually many species of whales that can be found in this area. On our latest surveys, we identified sei whales, Brutus whales, and I would say the most common big whale that we have in Palau is the sperm whale.
Wow.
And there's also many other species. So I'm not going to say stay here and do all the list, but there's definitely a wide variety of whales inhabiting the Palau exclusive economic zone.
Oh, thanks, Greta, for that insight. Thank you.
Greta, would you say they congregate around the entire EZ, or is there a specific side or column that they exist in?
So as far as we know, it's very early to say still, so that's what we are trying to investigate, taking our research further. But as what we saw from the first survey that we did, it's this area, so the west, is where we identified the multi-species aggregation of whales. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised to find whale bones in this area.
Can you zoom in a bit, please? That's good.
Whoa.
Was that bending at all?
I feel like it was a little bendy.
I agree.
I feel like sponge.
Yeah, I think that might be sponge. It's awful big, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty friable. It's just,
Okay.
Just crumbling. There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are not going to collect it. Thanks for doing that.
Sure.
Okay. Got a little primnoid coral sticking up there, according to some of our scientific experts, and possibly a little primnoid on the right. Let's keep moving along.
Okay. Yeah, we can keep going.
So is this like a dead sponge?
Yeah, so we did collect some dead farreid sponge. And these we collected on one of the seamounts up to the north. They've been noted in a number of places. You can come to the tops of some seamounts and there will just be old sponge skeleton lying on the seafloor here and there. These are glass sponges, so that glass takes a great deal of time to break down into small pieces. It doesn't decay away.
And it's also covered in manganese crust.
And it gets covered in manganese crust, yeah. So probably thousands of years old. Yep, there's our primnoid there on the right.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting levels here, so I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Might have just been some stream.
That might be that
lag or
sponge
something.
again.
Can you zoom in, please?
Absolutely.
This is more of a plate-like glass sponge.
Is that bridge force talking us?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, well, come on, please. Just gotta catch up a little bit here.
Okay, we can keep going.
Yep. I just gotta get a little behind.
So, Jeff,
So
what
one second. Chris Kelly is just saying that sponge was, I want to get this into the chat so that our annotators will have it later. It's Atlanticella species. Thank you, Chris. Okay, sorry, Amanda.
Yeah,
Please
no
go
problem. I just wanted to ask, what does rat tail taste like?
ahead. Oh, yeah, I never did finish my story. It's very easy to get distracted out here. There's a lot to see.
Yeah.
So I brought home a fillet of this fish, and I put it into a dish with just a little bit of lemon and butter so I could taste the fish, and I stuck it into the oven. This is a rat tail from about 4,000 meters, and the whole thing proceeded to shrink.
Oh.
It was almost all water, and when I took it out of the oven and tried to cut into it, it was just chewy and quite frankly terrible.
Like jerky?
Chewy. It
Chewy.
was all the water had been cooked out of it, and all that was left was connective tissue.
Oh, wow.
And it was awful. Absolutely awful.
At least you had the experience.
A lot of rat tails, yes, my
Fish
wife
there.
said don't
On the right.
bring home fish from work
See the
anymore.
fish?
Oh, yep, there's another rat tail. That's probably Kumba.
I'm sorry you taste bad.
It's moving.
But there's many different species, and that's
Rat
one of the
tail on
cool
the
things about rat tails, is there's nearly 300 species across the ocean, and they live from depths from 200 meters all the way down to 7,000
Sorry,
meters.
were you talking to me?
Some species are commercially fished, many are not. Many do not taste
yeah,
very
sure.
good. And they take on all kinds of roles. There are some that eat plankton. There's quite a number of the larger species that become top predators in the systems that they're in. They probably are second only to large sharks and skates, but because they live to very great depths below where you find sharks and skates, often they do become the very top predators in the systems that they live in. So
Wow.
really fascinating fishes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your sacrifice for eating it.
For science.
And Jeff, you were saying that rat tails and other deep sea fish, they are mainly composed by water, much more than their
Much
shallow
higher
water
content, yeah.
And is this kind of an adaptation because of the pressure of the water, or?
Yeah, so this takes us into a dive into some physiology here. So what we've found is that, particularly in fishes, as you look at species that live deeper and deeper, particularly over the first 1,000 or 1,500 meters of the water, that's a little anthomastus down there, can we zoom in on this whip right there? I think Les Watling on the science chat wanted to get a closer look at the polyps on a couple of these. But yeah, as you have fishes with deeper and deeper depths, they have more and more water content. So if you take a look at the water content in something like a tuna, it might be something in the order of 75%. Most organisms are water. It's a lot of water. But the rat tails that I was telling you about that shrunk in my oven, that fish was about 85 to 86% water. And that's a lot of water in their muscle tissue. And the reason that they do this is they just don't need it. They don't have to swim terribly fast.
Hey, well,
And
come on, please.
this is related to metabolic rate, but when you live in the dark, you don't need to have all of that muscle machinery like a tuna to swim very fast, because you're not using vision over as long a distance to interact with other predators and with your prey. So in the shallow water, a tuna needs to identify its sardine prey. Oh wow, let's take a look at this bushy thing on the left. Tens or maybe even, 30, 40 meters away, and then has to swim rapidly after it to catch it. So it has really robust muscles. Whereas that rat tail in the deep ocean may bump into its prey before it realizes it's there, or only see it maybe a meter or two away. So it doesn't need that muscle machinery. This is a fantastic coral. This is a black coral. I do not know which one this is. I'm hoping that somebody on the science chat can tell us. We need to zoom in and look at the branching on this.
Okay, we'll come wide, please.
Okay.
Might be able to get a rock at the things that are broken off, but I don't know if that's the rock you want, though. Looks like another little dead sponge there, too.
Say that again, Josh. Sorry.
I was just thinking, I don't know. Maybe,
Trying to break off some of this.
I'm changing my mind. I don't think
You sure?
we
We
can
can
get those rocks.
try if you want to stop and we can try.
Yeah, I think it's still gonna be stuck.
Is there like any of those pieces like right in there, do you think? Or is it just too...
I think that's gonna be tough. I was sort of thinking like I'm kind of getting behind the ship
Oh,
now,
down
but I
here
was
or
thinking right
something?
in there where that sponge piece, that dead sponge piece is somewhere maybe, but I don't know. I'm changing my mind. I'm thinking those are stuck too.
Okay. Well, there is another amazing fan coming up here. Let's zoom in on the end of this. Oh wow, and it's got a Venus flytrap anemone stuck to the top of it.
Sorry, I'll have to make this one a little quick. I'm a little bit...
That's okay. This may be Bathopathes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Nice perch there. Wow.
Wonder how it got up there.
You said that this was a Venus flytrap anemone?
Yeah. So this is a sea anemone, and it kind of has a folded appearance to it. And like shallow water anemones, we can keep going, Josh.
Okay,
if
we'll
you
come
like.
wide, please.
Like shallow water anemones, it's just waiting there with its tentacles for plankton and things to get caught. And it's eating prey that's going to be much larger than the coral.
Whoa. What kind of prey does it eat?
I'm not sure that we know with certainty, but based on the size of the tentacles, it's probably eating larger plankton, maybe things that would be more like krill or mysids, very, very small fish.
Oh, what is that?
Things of that nature.
On
That
the
is
the
a
left?
sponge. That is a Walteria sponge. Oh, and we got a fish. That looks like a cutthroat eel.
Let's do like a half zoom.
I see many fishes in the deep sea have this eel shape.
Chase this.
They do. This comes back to the locomotion. We were talking about how many of them have very watery muscles. Many of them also have this eel-like body form, and that's because they're living in the dark or near dark. And so they are not adapted for rapid, continuous swimming like something like a tuna or even many of the fishes you would see on a coral reef. Instead, they are adapted for low speed. You're seeing this now with this cutthroat eel, but continuous swimming. They'll move around nearly all day long, but they do so at a very leisurely pace. And that long eel-like tail, oh good, we need to see where the dorsal fin starts on this fish. That'll help us ID it and see its jaws.
Okay.
This is Synaphobranchus, but I'm not certain of the species. Okay, we can keep going.
Okay.
Thanks, Josh.
Yep. All right, come wide, please.
But they, this eel-like tail enables them to just be very energy efficient as they move slowly through the water column. So lots of fishes have that body shape in the deep sea.
They're just cruising.
They're just cruising.
And Josh, how are you feeling about zoom speeds or anything like that?
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, I like the, sort of just kind of scene dependent, I guess. But yeah, I like kind of the, when I'm chasing fish, I was hoping I was trying to match like the fish's speed, you know?
Yeah.
And then once I got comfortable, then I wanted to go tighter, and then that's exactly when it stopped. But
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it feels pretty good.
Okay, just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Jeff, we just had a comment from one of our viewers. They said that they had rat tail at a restaurant on the California Central Coast that they said was absolutely delicious. And they only ordered it because they were watching the dive streams, and they said they took one for the team.
All right. Well, I presume that was, if that was off the U.S. West Coast, that would have been Coryphonoides acrolepis or the Pacific grenadier.
Oh, zoom in, please.
They definitely do not call them rat tails in the market. They renamed them grenadiers.
A rebranding.
Yes, rebranding. That has happened many
That's
times
good.
with many different deep sea fish. Orange roughy, another popular deep sea fish for fishing, they used to be called slime heads by scientists.
Oh.
They got rebranded as orange roughy.
Those orange roughies were extracted on the south of Tasmania to near extinction.
Yes,
Oh,
they
man.
were indeed.
Yeah.
At that point, they
really,
should have.
really bad. Most of these deep sea fishes, that is great video.
Those are so cool.
Wow.
They're
Most
just
of
so
these
amazing.
deep sea
I like girls
fishes
like that.
they're not very resilient. They do not stand up
Okay,
to
well, come
fishing
on,
pressure. They grow
It's like
very
a tomato
slowly,
cage.
and they reach very high ages, and they do not recruit, meaning the babies don't come into the population very frequently. And so we now know that these deep sea fishes cannot sustain much fishing pressure at all. Orange roughy, it turns out, they live to 150 years in age. More
Wow.
commonly 125, but they're not reproductively mature until they're 25 or 30. That Pacific rat tail that our listener was dining upon, we now know that they live to 75, and they don't reach reproductive maturity until 15 or 20.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So they move slowly, they hunt slowly, and also they live very slowly.
They
Like,
do.
that's a-
The pace of life in the deep sea is slow.
Sounds like a dream.
And that means, yeah, but it means that it's not a system that can withstand a lot of impacts. That it's not very resilient. Things move very slowly. They recover very slowly. So it's something we have to keep in mind when we're considering resource extraction, for instance, in the deep ocean.
Of course.
Is there anything in here that looks like it might be a rock we could sample, Josh? I know it's a marvelous outcrop, but it all looks solid to me.
It looks pretty solid, I would
Yeah,
say. If
okay.
anything, it's usually ones that fall, right? And those are the ones you actually don't want, usually, right?
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Honestly, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just trust that when you see something we can sample, we'll just stop
Okay.
it, because you know far better than I what we can get with the nip.
Well, yeah.
When you say solid, how solid is it compared to something that I can find in my backyard?
Like, this is like trying to take a sample out of, like, concrete. Like, it just...
Okay.
It looks like you can pick it up, and it's just completely stuck. Like, it's just
part of
one
the bedrock.
piece of the bedrock, yeah.
What are you looking for?
It's a total guess. Like, sometimes you look for something that's loose, like maybe something that's broken off, but that's not necessarily the best sample of the rock that you want to get. So you're trying to look for something that you can just kind of snap off the rock itself, but it's very hard to tell. Some are like, you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, that'll totally come free, and like, nope, it's not going anywhere. So it's a bit of a guess. Sometimes if we do want to kind of stop and poke around, I can do some of that as well. But
If there's any chance we can zoom in on the polyps on the end of this whip right here.
Be great to get some stills of it as well.
Yes.
What is that?
We'll zoom in, please. Try and settle. I'm kind of floaty a bit. I could sit down if we really want to get tight on the polyps.
Let's see how we do on the fly for just
Okay.
a second.
Give me 1 second.
Greta, we're getting
Settle
some
down a little
stills.
bit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for zoom.
Can we get more Zoom video?
We cannot.
Okay, thanks.
I will try. I'll zoom. Now we just have to focus. There we go.
Nice.
So question for video, how difficult is it to get the focus on a piece of footage?
It depends on the organism.
Ooh, that's great.
That is really great. Can we get the lasers off for just a minute?
Sure. Got that right?
What do you mean by it depends?
There's some organisms that are just blobby, so even when it is in focus, it just looks like nothing. Something like this isn't too bad, though. And then a fish that is like moving in and out of the depth of field can be a bit tricky as well. When you're really zoomed in, you have a very thin depth of field. You can see like the stuff that's just a little bit closer is completely out of focus.
Thank you for that.
We good with that, Jeff?
This is
Yeah,
great.
that's fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, we'll come wide, please.
So to our viewers, we are currently exploring an unnamed seamount west of Babeldaob Island outside of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. If you have any questions, please send them through nautiluslive.org. And we're doing this to explore the biodiversity of this region, and it's been, what we've been seeing has been pretty exciting.
The viewers keep saying there's a buzzing sound in the background. I don't know, I can't hear it, but they keep saying it.
A buzzing sound. I can actually hear it really faintly now too, now that they pointed out. I don't know what that would be.
I think it's coming from one of these seats back here.
We're stopped here now, hey? We're stopped? Okay. I could, well, I don't know. I could try and poke at some of those that are right in front of us there, bottom kind of center screen, but
Okay.
I don't know. Probably not.
Well, let's give it a try anyway, yeah? If you think.
Yeah, we can give it a try.
Okay.
Well, is there any unplugged, unused audio back there that's not muted?
We are searching now.
Yeah, doing some troubleshooting. 1 second.
Let's see. I don't know. Those are going to be solid, I think. Maybe up there. Maybe we'll try up there.
Menzel, so do you see that there's two audio things there? Can you try and mute the one that's not you? See if it's muted. That you're not plugged into.
Hey, Max. Could
Yes?
you, I think it's on this seat whenever we unmute this. Like,
Oh, totally.
Great.
So it's Greta's seat, right?
I don't know. You look up ahead. I don't know. Think I can pick that any of that stuff? I don't think so.
That's good to know. Thank you. That might be an Amber problem, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Not sure
No
what to
worries.
do about that.
1 second.
Yeah. It's always the one up. You're like, oh yeah, just up there, and then you get there, you're like, no. What about one of these pieces? Maybe something in that little
Um,
cluster.
Actually, here's an idea. Greta, if you would be willing to go back to the 8 to 12 mic box, hopefully there's still an unused microphone.
All
and
right.
if you try swapping out your microphone, maybe that'll fix it.
Noel, where are we going to want to put this? I don't know what we have.
Hermit crab.
We're doing a rock sample.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Okay.
We may be doing a rock
I don't know if we're doing a rock.
Okay.
There's a really cool little hermit crab right there behind the nib.
We would say squat lobsters are quite mobile, correct?
Mm-hmm. They are.
Our forward box then is off limits.
Okay.
They got a squat lobster?
As an associate in a coral sample, but it's an imported squat lobster. We think it is likely a new genus observation for the region,
Wow.
so we would like to keep that.
Yeah, sure.
Max, replacing that headset seems to have resolved that problem, so.
Sure.
Okay, let's pan back to the right there a little bit.
We need a jackhammer.
Yeah.
How much force can the manip exert?
More than the vehicles can stay in one place. So that's the sort of thing is you have a lot of force, but then you just move the vehicle because the vehicle can only push down so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of a balancing act between trying to keep the vehicle in one place, because you can see if I push on that rock, I just move the vehicle. So I can really only apply the same amount of force that the vehicle can hold itself.
Right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So I usually poke around and then, because grabbing on and then prying is very hard on the arm. So I would rather just try and scrape and pull until I can see something maybe come loose. Otherwise, you can. It's quite hard in the arm when you really grab and pry and shake the whole vehicle around. But I don't think anything's coming
Okay.
loose.
Thanks
here.
for trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. a
Watch
little
out for that hermit
down
crab there.
Well, yeah, we'll have to try another one, I guess. I'll have to fix that in a second here. Skim up a little bit.
So we got a question for the pilots. What is it like piloting Herc and Atalanta?
Super fun.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing to do. That's why I'm here. This is what all the hard work is for. It's a lot of work up front to be able to keep these vehicles in the water, and this is the reward. I love it. It's,
Oh, that's amazing. Can you sort of feel the current?
We've got a lobster on the bottom right there. Or it's like middle right now, I think. I don't know if you want to check it out.
See some coming in the
that's
wide.
going to be a
There's some
polychelid
bigger
lobster.
fish
Oh,
here
yeah.
coming in.
Yeah. Oh, can you just zoom in
Whoa.
on the big cutthroat eel for a second?
Yeah.
This might be, based on the size, maybe Snaphobranchus brevidorsalis.
Cruise in.
I see they have a lot of scars.
The pink thing on the bottom is almost certainly Homerion asper, the polychelid lobster. We've seen a few of those on some other dives.
Yeah, this is like a half zoom. See if I can kind of get a feel here. Oh, he does not want
Wow.
a picture taken.
No,
Oh,
this
sorry.
is a camera
This
shy
fish.
fish.
So graceful.
Okay,
All right, we'll
let's
come
keep
alive.
going.
Thanks. Yeah, sorry.
Thanks. No, that
Couldn't chase that one down.
no.
Man, that fish looks like it was like
Fish
almost
on a
a meter,
mission.
maybe?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Jeez.
I see these fish have some scars on their body.
Yeah, they frequently do. The cutthroat eels are predators and scavengers. They eat other fish, big crustaceans, small cephalopods, and it seems like they get into a tussle fairly frequently, and we often see them with abrasions on their bodies. So the banging into the rocks part is probably because they're disturbed by the presence of the vehicle, and that kind of is upsetting their senses. They can't see right now because the bright lights of the ROV, so that's probably not normal. But they do probably bang themselves up just because of their predatory lifestyle.
So for our viewers, we are currently exploring an unnamed seamount west of Babeldaob Island, outside of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. This dive track was chosen because it has a variety of different habitats and depth ranges, so we can explore the biodiversity of this place, and it's been beautiful. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear them from Nautilus on nautiluslive.org.
Yeah, that's. I'm not too worried about that. The red is just an arbitrary number that we picked. Yeah. It's our water temp, actually. Three degrees, so it's pretty cold. Oh, say again, sorry? Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, that sounds good.
Hey, ROV, I'm going to bump the temperature down in the back row real quick. So
Sure.
Oh no.
More cold.
I was just getting comfortable in here. Just a bad sign.
What's a bad sign?
Gets
It
too
gets-
warm.
Oh,
Moderately warm
know.
in here.
It was really nice.
That's why we should have known.
I really wanted to try my first winter jacket as an islander to see if it could hold up to the infamous cold of this room.
Well, we were having some issues with
You will
not
need
being cold enough in this room for a while, like kind of as we were leading up to coming out to this area and knowing it was going to be so warm. So I was put in charge of helping to try and add some AC and make this room colder. So I'm happy
man.
to hear that
You're
everyone's
the
freezing.
one.
And if you have an issue, just put a jacket on.
All right. Let's zoom
Unfortunately
on
for
this
now,
while we're passing by
the
here.
temperature will have to stay comfortable.
We'll
Did
zoom
not
in,
know where
please.
the remote is.
Ooh.
That's what I heard.
Oh,
What is that?
just means I succeeded.
It's looking like it's a bamboo.
Another brittle star?
Yep, there's a brittle star on the arms.
How do they
Are
find
those
each other?
joints or not? No, I'm not sure anymore. That is a great question, how they find each other to start the symbiosis.
Oh, come by, please.
Yeah, are there some like sort of chemical signals that they send to each other? Like, hey, you can chill out with me, or
Quite likely, yeah. The larva probably sense the appropriate place to settle, which would be the coral. The coral probably lives very long, might actually have more than one associate over its lifetime, though we have very little data on how long brittle stars live, so I might not jump to conclusions.
Oh yeah, do we know anything about, they
So,
stay there
brittles-
their whole lives, or do they go from coral to coral?
They probably stay there their whole lives,
Wow.
but nobody's actually tracked a brittle star, so
Yeah.
you know I can't say that with 100%
Put a little
certainty.
tag.
It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Here's another one of these sponges.
We'll zoom in,
Maybe
please.
Chris Kelly, who's on the science chat, can give us an idea of what this one what this one is.
Like similar lobes to that other one. that we
Yeah,
saw.
exactly.
Chris Kelly is saying very old Atlanticella sponge.
Okay, great. Atlanticella.
Come by, please.
Very old.
Menzel, what do you think of seeing sites like this?
I'm just mesmerized. I mean, even listening to Jeff talking about how the fish taste, I think it brings me back to like cooking fish that has high water contents. Maybe you should have steamed it instead of baking it.
I think I'm just not going to eat it, but
Yeah.
I
We
do
just-
not claim to be a great cook.
Right.
That looks like an old attachment point for a sponge or a coral right there.
Wow,
I see. Looked like gold.
Oh, come
Yeah.
it's cool.
No, probably no gold down here, but oh,
That's
little
a
fish.
fishy.
Can we zoom on the little fish?
on. Sure.
Little fish.
Okay, let's go for it.
It's so cute.
Another rat tail.
Oh, wow.
Really dark, very long body. I'm thinking Nizumia or Kumba. And I got a bit of a longer head than Nizumia, but I am not sure. Okay,
Come by, please.
can we get the lasers back on? Actually, oh, they are back
They're
on. We were
yeah,
just
we just
zoomed in so
zoomed
much.
in
Is
further.
there any chance we could try to slurp up this fish?
There's a chance. There's always a chance.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Exciting.
Can we come full wide?
Absolutely.
So, let's see here.
By how the fish are swimming, it seems like
How
there's
do you
some
feel
current.
about running the arm?
There's definitely some current
I've
coming down
already
the slope.
slurped a fish
Absolutely.
before.
Okay, well, that's the way it's going
Rise
to
is
happen.
slurping
Right.
I
pro.
can't fly,
Yeah.
I can't fly into
Rise
the arm
an
at the same
expert.
time, so.
Alright, let's do it.
Jeff has given the ROV pilots lots of practice with slurping fish.
I'll just try and stick with it, and just let me know if you want the camera moved at all.
Is
Yeah, I'll
slurp
just
the
get the arm
scientific
out
term,
and,
or is it our term?
Are you happy with the wide photo?
It's a term that we all understand.
Slurp.
Oh, it's on the
Oh,
move.
it's making a run for it.
It's making a run.
Yeah,
Hide. Stop and hide.
It's a little shy.
yeah.
Is it because I said slurp?
There it is.
It might be.
I'm just gonna get a view of the slurp here.
Good, yeah.
Fishes have a really good mechanosensory system. It's called the lateral line, and they have a series of scales that have special holes,
I'm
pores
gonna,
in them. And inside that,
Okay.
those pores, there's sensory cells that detect vibrations in the water column and water motion. And so the vehicle, of course, is big. It's the size of a car. And as it moves around, it's disturbing the water. It's creating its own waves, if you will. And the fish can sense that. And so that's what that animal was probably responding to.
Wow. It's probably like, what is this huge fish?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Oh, and there's a big cutthroat eel.
Don't be distracted. We're focus on the prize here.
Yeah, which one you want?
We got to start
one.
today.
That one's too big to fit.
Oh yeah, if you hide in there, buddy, that's a good spot to hang out.
Sorry, I'm gonna get a
Just
better
stay right there. Oh, that's
pick
nice.
of that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I'm
So
gonna flush
Josh,
back
one-
just a little bit.
Rye can confirm or deny what I'm about to say, but it seemed like getting close and then just ramping up the suction full speed, just hitting it, worked well with the other couple that
Okay,
we collected.
so I'm gonna get a setup for suction here.
Yeah. Do we still think it's kind of behind that little rock there? Yeah, right there. Okay. That's
Okay.
what I was looking to.
But Jeff, we did not collect a rat
We
tail.
did not get a rat
right?
tail. We thought we had, but it actually, we have two Bathygattids
Going to go
in the genus Bathygattis. Yep.
Science data is sample jar 1 open.
Yes.
Okay. There we go. Let me
I'm just gonna hit the. I'm gonna hit the suction just for a sec, just to flush that a bit.
Oh, I just flushed it into.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I just flushed it into the flusher. But
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we were running.
yeah, suction is
Here.
100% on
So,
everything.
Jeff,
Already 3
what are the
steps ahead of me.
factors that
Okay.
lead you to consider or want to take a sample?
Yeah, so we don't want to just collect all over the place. We're trying to collect, there's two things really. If there are animals that we're seeing very commonly, we are trying to identify them with video, and that's really hard, as I was mentioning
Okay, I'm
earlier.
not
So we
listening to
want to
SBL,
collect a
but I'm talking
representative
on
of the
it.
common things.
Yeah,
This
go
rat
ahead.
tail we've
So
now seen a couple of
you just do
times.
the arm and I'll
And
get
the
suction
previous
from you.
watch probably saw it
Okay.
a few times
Okay.
as well.
Sounds good.
So we're trying to collect a specimen, which we would call
Where
a
is it?
voucher.
I
It
think
becomes
currently.
a
behind that
representative
little.
of all of these animals that we've
I'm
seen in
guessing
video
right now,
but
I'll
can't
put the
identify
suction-
without a specimen in our hands.
Is it
The
in the
other
little cave?
reason
It's
that we
down
might
in that
want to
little
collect
cave
something
just to
is
the
if
right
it
of the
is
lasers.
particularly rare
Yeah,
and
okay.
we're looking
Do you want
at
me
it
to be
and it
stretching
might
the
be
arm out, or
new
do you want-
species
Just
or
just
new
keep
to the
your eye
region.
on how much stretch you're
Yeah.
doing.
Okay.
But in this
I think
case,
you should need to.
I can't
well,
even tell you if it
we'll
would
see.
be new to the region or a new
We're gonna have to
species.
scare it out a little bit, I think.
I see it. Oh, I thought I
Thank
saw
you.
it moving right there.
That's pretty stretched
might be a
out.
shadow,
Let's
though.
zoom in, please. Yeah, let's not stretch as far. You're right at the end of your stretch, so
Yeah.
give yourself a little bit of
'Kay.
extra.
I'm going back.
Now we gotta find it again.
Ooh,
There it is.
Oh yeah, right there.
Ooh.
Okay, let's come wide. Okay.
Okay.
And maybe just like a half zoom. How's that, right?
there's
Yeah.
nothing
Pretty good for
going
you?
on.
Okay.
It's
Suction
all
on.
completely
Yeah, I'm a
normal.
little high, so we'll just
Yeah.
wait for it.
We're not gonna slurp you.
Okay.
Stay calm.
Oh.
Okay.
Does anybody see it?
No, I've lost it.
I think it's one underneath us. Oh, well, you know, you can try that guy right there, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to work.
You never know.
Maybe it's trying to catch the same fish that
What
we're trying
about
to
right
get.
there?
Oh,
on
it
the
would
shelf
definitely
there?
eat the rat tail if it
Yeah.
could.
What is the strength on the slurp?
Like how fast can it move water?
Yeah.
Pretty fast. It's been a while since I've measured it. I can't really remember the numbers.
Oh,
Like it can empty a full-size garbage can in like, less than a minute.
wow, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Stronger than a shop vac.
stronger than a shop vac. But we have control over it, so we can do it very gently. We can do it at, proportional control up to a lot of water moving. I don't see it anymore.
Okay, well, let's keep moving on. Perhaps we'll see another one.
This fish wants to just keep hanging out though.
Decided it's not chemichy.
No, but I can't figure out what it is. The dorsal fin starts really far forward, but it's really robust. It just doesn't match the species that I know.
All right.
But we will not catch that fish. The fish is very active.
We'll put this away, I think.
Okay, sounds good.
As soon as we put it away, we'll see the fish again.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been running with it live and like no blue button.
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
Okay.
Up, it's hot. Let me turn that down.
Swimming shrimp.
Yeah, little shrimp swimming through the field there.
Okay.
Oh, there's a little tiny fish that's called cyclothone. Yep. That's only about 1.5 inches long.
Ooh.
There it goes. That's a really common fish. And at these depths, they're open water fish, and we were looking at that one before.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's the same.
And they sometimes just get washed into the side of the seamount, those little fish. So we'll probably see a few more of those as we go along.
Wonder if that's the piece that broke off of there. Bottom screen.
Yeah.
Josh, are we clear for another DBL reset?
Sure. So Jeff, you're happy to start moving the ship again and
Yes, please.
okay, do that. Yep. Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna keep kind of wandering back and forth.
So to our viewers tuning in, we are currently exploring an unnamed seamount west of Daob Island, outside of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. This dive track was chosen because it has a variety of different habitats and depth ranges, And this will help us understand the presence and distribution of different marine habitats with high conservation value. If you have any questions, comments, please send them over on nautiluslive.org. We'd love to hear from you. Ooh, what is this?
Great black coral.
Maybe I'll try and set up the Thurber cam here for a still shot.
Okay.
We come wide, please. Got a little bit of time before the ships. Try and make it quick here.
Oh, that's looking pretty good.
Let's try and come down if I can a little more. So let's just sit right on the bottom. Yeah, let's go for that.
Okay, 1 second here.
Oh.
I think you got to come out of the autofocus, the red,
Yeah.
the orange button there at the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, I
Yeah.
have to come out
Yeah,
of that,
out of that,
and then I
yeah,
can do
manual.
this. Okay.
Then you switch that, yeah.
Take other.
Yeah, start
I just need to go the other way. Nope.
Just me.
So what makes it a black coral? Like, why is it called that?
Well, we're having a little bit of problem here with the focus because
Yeah.
it's the first time I'm using this camera.
Can you
Okay.
click on the thing on the image that you want to actually focus on with autofocus? You know what I mean? I don't know if that's
Oh,
I
click on the point?
yeah, like I don't know if that is actually a thing, but what I recall where you can actually click on the coral and then the focus will focus on that thing. Or is that not a
that would
don't
be
think-
marvelous
I
if
think
I
that
don't
would be in
think that's-
this
don't think that's a
setting if
thing.
you wanted to, yeah, change the focus area.
I'll try and get it a little.
does
I'm sitting on the
not
bottom.
like
but
this
I'll try
at
and get it a little
all.
more. Got a little more time. Let me try and change positions here a little bit.
Just try to get a great shot with that.
Oh, that's looking good.
Yeah, those are good.
Okay,
Great.
awesome.
Let's
okay.
keep going.
Moving on.
Okay, so that was Staropathes, according to our experts online.
Okay. We'll keep the ship moving, yeah.
nodes here. Let's keep moving though.
I was unaware 2 and 3 were not up. No one informed me of that. Is that? Yeah, I'm not sure what that would be, but hopefully our people are on it. Hopefully Rachel is working on that. And if she does
Yeah,
Let me check if there's a...
Yeah, we're only in 1 right now on the Starlink.
It looks like there's
working on a satellite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. I did not know that.
something about the satellite?
Yeah, we're streaming just one stream at the moment, as we're just working on a technical issue to get the other 2 streams back up.
All right, thank you.
Have we only been on one stream this whole time?
Yes.
There you go. Here I've been like
coming
fiddling
up on
with
one of these
stream
whips here, and most of the bottom of it is all gone.
By looking at the shape of these ripples, it seems like the current is stronger when it's going down, because they have a shorter side towards us and a longer side towards the other side. So probably the dominant flow of the current on this part of the seamount is towards the bottom.
Looks like another piece of dead sponge there on the seafloor. Can we check out that sponge there?
Absolutely.
Might be Dictyolis or something like that.
Hey, we'll zoom in, please.
And yeah, so these little vase sponges, you can see how the top of it is completely closed off. And these sponges have little symbiotic shrimp that live inside them, and they probably enter when they are a larva, and then as they grow, they get trapped inside of this. And this is what on the last leg we referred to as the sponge dungeon. Get trapped inside, and you can never leave. Then again, don't have to worry about predators.
Yep.
Just hope
I don't
that's
actually see the shrimp inside this one right now.
Rapunzel is not home.
It's just sleeping. So how do
Might be a
they
shot with
benefit?
the
So
filter,
the
maybe.
sponge provides shelter and
The sponge provides shelter, and then there's probably material that gets caught on the sponge. It doesn't have a super thick wall, but that the sponge either doesn't utilize as food, or the shrimp can pick off from between the little gaps in the sponge, and
Let's try a little DSC there maybe too.
keeps the sponge clean and free of debris, and gets a home in return.
wow, that sounds like a sweet deal.
Condo with view.
I wish I can get my
Alright.
tenants to do that.
Let's take care of things.
Let's try a little DSC on that one as well. Might be able to get a shot there. I like that black background, it's pretty cool. Nice. Okay, we'll come light, please.
You get one?
Did we get one there? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you took some. I can settle back down again if you like.
No, I think we're good.
We're good? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, moving on.
Look at that.
A lot of corals there. This Calyptrophora, these kind of lyrate or branching corals. Apparently they saw quite a number of those on the last shift. There's something very bright on this coral or sponge coming up here.
looks like a sea star.
That is a sea star.
Yeah, zoom in, please.
Oh, it's so cute.
These ones are funny to
So,
look at.
yeah, the sponge is Walteria, and the sea star, I'm not so sure.
Yep.
If we can get a little more zoom. Oh, nope. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. Yeah. Back up a little bit. All right, we'll come wide. Yeah, thanks.
Jeff, is that the whip coral we're interested in?
Yeah,
Sure.
we're actually going to, we've got a request to sample just the end of one of these whip corals
Okay.
for taxonomy.
We'll just stop the ship and I'll just kind of go a little bit ahead, see if we can find another one here.
And Josh, one thing we're looking for with the sample will be a specimen that has some polyps pretty close to the top, if possible,
Okay.
and then just like a 20 centimeter snip.
Okay. Let's have a little look around here.
So Jeff, could you talk about what factors you use to determine whether or not to take a sample?
Yeah, so in this case, the sample that we're taking, one of these whip corals, these are very common, and there is some idea as to what they are, probably Adinisis, a type of bamboo coral, but the species is not known, and because they seem to be very common here, we're just going to take a small section of one, which won't not kill the colony, and that will enable folks back ashore to look at it morphologically and identify it to the species level. We got one coming up right here.
And how would they be preserved or processed?
Yeah, so when the samples come back at the end of a dive, they are all brought into the wet lab. They're kept refrigerated until we are done processing them, which can take an hour or two, depending on how many samples we have. But the samples are typically preserved in alcohol, and that enables the taxonomist to look at the morphology of the specimen and also for there to be DNA extracted from it for genetic identification.
Zoom in, please.
Thank you.
Yep. And there was another whip coral looking thing. It could have been a dead coral. Just down and to the right, it was a bit smaller. I don't know if that might be a better candidate for sampling.
On here. Sorry, come wide, please.
We probably want to try to sample one of these big, tall ones, though. I think that was the goal.
Fair enough.
Let's set up here.
Do you know how tall or long they can get?
Oh, meters. It's incredible. Some of these whip corals
You just come down.
can
Give me
easily
another
be 3 meters in length.
Yeah.
Wow.
They look very similar to the shallow counterparts in the coral reefs. We have whip corals like this size. They're very common around Palau in areas with strong currents. From this, like a first observation, it seems like this one have bigger polyps, which would make sense, I guess.
Are the
More
whip corals on the
surface
reef
area.
bamboos? Are they bamboo corals, or are they a different group of corals that has convergently evolved that whip style of that whip shape?
I have to say I'm not sure about this, so perhaps some of the experts from the chat will be able to help us.
Menzel, have you ever seen coral like this?
I was just going to say that my uncle used to collect some of these, and he would dry them out and try to keep the stiffness in it, and then soak them in resin, so they will keep its shape. And he would use them to make like artificial flower arrangements. Yeah.
Artificial flower arrangement?
Like it would look like an artificial flower arrangement, and people would be like, "Where'd you get this?" And he's like, "It's a coral."
Wow, that's beautiful. I'd love to see some if you have any pictures later.
I will. Yeah.
That one looks like it has polyps to the end, to the tip.
Yeah, we're waiting for a response in the chat.
Okay, I'll try and get another closer shot of the very tip there.
This might be a different species.
Yep, we may need to keep looking.
Okay.
Oh, he says still got one.
Do you want to look at the base? Does that help?
I don't think we probably need to look at the base.
Okay.
But not for the whip. No. Okay.
Okay. Is this a collection or?
This is a collection.
This is a collection. Okay, we'll come wide, please. So 20 centimeter at the tip. Of course, it's like going to be taller than the ROV.
Yeah, maybe something like
Could you sit
that.
down behind it on the
Yeah, I might have to
taller?
perch up higher and look, see if I can come around this way.
So how would you sample this specimen? Would you have to like cut like a portion off?
Yeah, so there's in the manipulator arm, there is a cutter just for this purpose. And we'll see here in just a minute.
Oh, awesome.
And then I think I'm gonna put it into one of the jars.
Oh, suck it up into one of the sample jars?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll keep it a little better protected.
Okay.
Number 1 is open.
Okay, cool. Yeah, hopefully I can reach. I might have to do this in Auto XY. It's so tall. It's gonna, once I sit down, it's gonna be like
this thing's
taller than the ROV.
Yeah, this thing's got to be a couple meters high, minimum.
Sorry, is this a suction sample?
I think, yeah, I'm going to snip it, and then I'm going to put it into the or the snip and slurp is
Okay.
what we like to call it.
Sounds good.
Snip and slurp.
Snip and slurp.
New term?
So I might have to do this in autos. Let's see.
Data, this is going into sample jar 1.
Perfect.
So Les is saying probably in the genus Taniostea for this particular whip.
Yes, please. Yeah, NA168-006.
So we have a question from one of our viewers. Why is it called a whip coral?
I think they get the name just from their body shape. They look like a long stretched out whip. And oftentimes with some curls on the end like that, like the the flailing end of, of a whip that a ranch hand or a cowboy would use, something like that.
So the shallow whip corals in the coral reefs usually have some shrimps living on them that are very well camouflaged and very small. Is this like a thing happening also in the deep sea?
Not very commonly that I'm aware of. Yeah, also on the shallow coral reef, diving, I've seen little gobies living right on the whip corals as well. With it, yeah. So it's a really good point. I don't know that is very common in the deep sea, and I think in the shallow water, those little gobies and shrimps can make a living by picking plankton out of the water and just using this as a very high perch. And I don't know, maybe there's too much competition between the polyps and the small gobies and shrimp in this case. The brittle stars seem to do it in some other corals, so
exactly.
Perhaps more of a division of food resource is possible with the brittle stars.
Perhaps we didn't bump on the right whip coral yet.
Yep, could be.
Maybe the next one will have a shrimp.
Yep.
I wonder why they have that sort of like spiral shape to them.
I do not know. It is interesting.
It's up to science to discover. Oh, yes. I just got a shout out from Dave Burdick from the University of Guam. Hi, Dave.
Oh.
It's so nice to hear from you. He said that he just met Dr. Ballard at the University of Guam Marine Lab and that they're very excited about the future work that we'll be doing in the Marianas. So nice to hear from you. He does a lot of work with the biorepository at the University of Guam, so very exciting. Thank you.
Can we zoom in a little bit, please? That's
Want me
good.
to tilt down a bit?
Yeah, sure. Lost our heading here a little bit. Zoom in a little more. Hold on. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna come down a little bit. Let's come wide again.
Okay. Oh.
So what kind of skeletons do they have?
So bamboo corals have segments that are made out of calcium carbonate, basically the material of shells. Often it's got a lot of calcite in it. And the joints are made out of a kind of a protein-based material, proteinaceous material in between that makes the joints of the bamboo and provides this flexibility that we're observing. Oh, I think it just snapped. No.
I don't want to pull on it too hard, but
Menzel, what are some of your thoughts on seeing the sample in progress?
I mean, like Greta said, the ones that we've seen in shallower areas, I had a different thought how it was going to get snipped. I thought it would be much easier. But this is interesting.
They're very strong.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
All right. Can we get a real close-up zoom at this before we slurp it into the sample chamber?
Yeah, you bet.
Is that going to fit up the slurp tube?
Yeah, it'll go for sure.
Great.
Might have been a little more than 20 centimeters, but okay, let's zoom in, please.
Great. We've got the end of it there.
Nice job.
Really
Wow.
nice. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
come wide. And then yeah, we'll give it just a little bit of water flow.
Our viewers are not very confident about your ability to slurp, so prove them wrong.
Let me
Okay.
know when you're ready for suction.
Yeah, you can turn on a bit.
It will be slurped. Snip and slurp.
Yeah, that one, well, it's a little curlier than I normally would do and a little longer, but maybe we might have to sample jar this.
Is the suction sampler on now?
It's on just a little bit. Might be.
I think you'll have to get the end of it in there, won't you?
Yeah. So I'm backing away from this idea maybe a little bit.
Can you get the end that's sticking out of your jaws there?
I could, yeah, which is typically the way I do it. But let's zoom in, please. That's good.
Nice.
Do you want me to turn suction up?
Yeah. Let's turn it up. Yeah, I'm going to back away from this idea. All right,
Okay.
I'm going to try a box, I guess.
Yeah, starboard bio box would be good.
Starboard.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, let's come wide. I'm going to sit down. I want to turn off the thruster on that side. You know how to isolate the thruster?
Yeah, which one do you want isolated?
The vert,
Starboard vertical?
yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, and I don't want any lateral on. Okay, can try that.
Okay. Okay, starboard vertical is isolated.
Okay, let's let it settle down for a sec.
Okay, and Wes, now that we've had a really nice close-up, is suggesting this is in fact Adinisis.
which is great.
Have you got your camera set up?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's box are.
Okay, ready?
Wait, is there anything in the box that might float away on this side right now?
Oh, good question.
Oh, here, I'll
Yeah,
close it until we
that's
confirm that.
Good enough for now, yeah.
Yeah.
Steropathes, yellow coral.
Let me know if you want sample salvo.
Might be able to do it off of these guys.
Okay.
I think we are fine.
Okay.
And which box do you want to go for?
So I think we could put it in the starboard bio box, the third from the front. I've got that labeled as C,
The little ones?
the small one, yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a large one open if that's preferred.
Okay, well, we'll try for a small one first.
There
C or D. The 2 in the aft.
2 in the aft, okay.
Yeah.
So question from one of our viewers, when a sample is processed, where is it sent to?
So all of our samples, our biological samples, are processed on board the ship. So after a dive, science team will remove all the samples from the different compartments on Hercules, and we will then describe, photograph, and document all of the samples that come in. At the end of the expedition, all of those samples are then sent back to the Harvard Museum of Comparative Zoology. All of the Nautilus samples are housed there. They are taken very good care of and inventoried properly so that experts from anywhere in the world can come in and request those voucher specimens to do all kinds of taxonomic work, biodiversity work, and really use those samples to continue making discoveries after the expedition.
That's awesome. Do you know if any sort of like replicate material has ever been like accessioned to kind of regional collections?
Yeah, absolutely. Every partner that we
suppose
work
that.
with, it just depends on the region
for
and
close?
who
Yep.
wants samples. So all of the scientists that come on the expeditions can
Okay.
take samples if they would like them. We also often work with different museums, local repositories, wherever people have the ability to store these collections for long term. We're happy to work with taking subsamples and things like that. So it really depends on the cruise and what our partners are interested in.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that one, did you see that one that went into Noel?
I did not.
That was the one forward from the back.
One,
So
okay,
third,
got it.
whatever, yeah.
C.
C, okay, thanks. I couldn't see the letter. Struggling there for a sec. But
Okay.
yeah, that looked like it went in there pretty nicely.
Nice.
I think that was a better choice than the,
Then the slurp attempt?
yeah, it was too curly Q.
Are you alright if I turn starboard vert
Yep,
back
I'll put that back on.
Okay. before we forget?
Yeah, before I forget, yeah.
Can we get the
All right.
lasers back on? I don't.
Lasers are on
Oh, they
currently.
are. I just
Um,
Yeah.
see
Are
them.
we wide on the HD? Okay.
Okay, whenever you guys are ready, let's keep moving uphill.
Okay. That was a tricky one because I couldn't sit down, which makes it a lot easier.
Yeah,
Just to get to the very top of it.
yeah, floating around while
anyway,
you're trying
yeah.
to grab the thing. Yep.
Might as well do a really hard one first. Get that out of the way.
Shake the rust off.
That was cool though.
And just so you know, Josh, our heading right now is 030, so we're
030.
quite a bit off of what the
Roger.
ship is going to be moving.
Roger. Let me just move that arm a little bit of the camera.
So for our viewers, we are currently exploring an unnamed seamount west of Bubble Daob Island outside of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. This dive track was chosen to traverse because it has a variety of different habitats and different depth ranges. Dive observations and samples will center on understanding the presence and distribution of marine habitats with high conservation value. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know on nautiluslive.org.
We're
rich
Oh,
morphology
little
here.
fish there,
Yeah.
down below the lasers.
What's interesting about it?
I would have no idea how that is right there, why it would be right there. And this, you see all the other surroundings looks very different.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that's why it's interesting, because it raises questions.
Yeah, of course. What are all the ripples in the sand from?
The ripples in the sand are like transport, right? So there's currents acting on the seabed that will transport the sand in a direction. And that's, we can see from these ripples, which is the dominant direction of the current transport, because of the shape this ripple have.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, Menzel, in your culture, are there any stories about like the creation of Palau?
Yes, so Palau, our legends come from, it started off as a clam. So in the olden days, it started out just one of the southern islands, which is Peleliu and Angar, was the whole island of Palau. And there was a clam that gave birth to a human and a bird. The bird is our national bird, the bib. And the human grew up to be a giant, and it was too much for the resources of the island, so the villagers tricked him into his house. A lot of the times when the story is being taught, they say the giant that was detrimental to their livelihood, but it was not an easy thing for them to do. It was sad because he was one of them. They tricked him into his house, and then they burned it down, and he fell and formed the islands of Palau.
Zoom in, please.
So from the north, they would say they're from the head of the giant, and then the south, Koror, are from the legs of the giant, and then everything in between. So it's a much longer story, but for the sake of time, that's the short end of it. Yeah.
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 Thank you for that.
So that clam
Thanks,
in
Josh.
relation
Okay,
to
go
the
forward, please.
ocean and who we are as a society.
Thank you so much.
That was different than the other sponge that we passed. That one didn't have the closed opening at the top, and that's in the genus Regadrella.
Has he won it yet, Josh?
Oh, we're still here. Still know where we are.
You're not getting dragged around by the ship. That's a good sign. That's neither. It must be going okay.
Well, technically we are.
Yeah. I've been spying on him downstairs. You're never alone. Nap Daddy's up now. He's always watching.
Do you think you could break off a piece of that down there, Josh?
I could try it. All right.
So a question from our viewers, how
You might
long will
just
this
kinda
dive
swing past
last
me here if I
in
settle
total?
down.
Around
Yeah, I'll
16
change
hours.
my heading to look at you
Yeah.
more.
The ship stopped though for right now.
Yeah.
There was a shift right before us, and there'll be a watch after us. So
I think this dive will end at 8 p.m. Yes. Palau time.
What are you thinking, Jeff? Like try and...
Well, it doesn't look as thin as it did when we were flying.
Oh, you want me
over
to
it,
try
but
like break something off of the actual edge
Yeah,
there?
I don't know. At one point it looked like maybe it was thin enough, but
I know.
think no.
It's always like the
Yeah,
next rock,
it's-
and you're like, nope, the next rock, nope.
Yeah. All right.
That's pretty.
Like an arch.
That's pretty thick. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it
There's
is.
a neat view on the still cam.
Oh yeah, that is cool.
Got
on
a
the,
big
on the,
anemone there, some sort of actinostolid, and an anthomastus in the back in there, and then some sort of coral here.
that is a cool still shot with the DSE. Try and hold it steady. I'm wondering if there's anything like you know, below it that would have broken off, but I can try and have a little look there.
No way.
Definitely feel a little bit of current.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see the whips out in the distance, which is probably not thruster wash, and they're
No, not that far away.
swinging around a lot.
Trying to back up a little bit, but I'm getting pushed into the rock.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely feel like the current's picked up a little bit.
The last few dives where the current has picked up, that has meant we've gotten to see gulper eels. Is that a rat tail?
Is that a rat tail out there in the distance?
I think so.
Can we go check that guy out?
Sure.
Don't know if we have enough leash for that, but...
We've got lots.
Oh,
Let's leash at the moment. But he's in...
Oh, it's coming right at
yeah,
us.
in the current. That's the direction of the current right there.
This has that dark leading edge of the dorsal fin. This is definitely what we've been calling Kumba on some of the other seamounts.
Okay, you can zoom in, please.
Really, really long body. Yep, this is what we've been calling Kumba in other locales.
Just drifting together in the current.
Great, thanks.
Okay, come wide, please. All right, I gotta catch up here a little bit. It's like some current coming up over the top of the hill there. I'm going kind of more straight into it now.
This is just smooth basalt plain with cracks in it. There's another small fish right there. Oh. I'm guessing it's going to go under us before we can stop. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
It's a little camera shy.
Yeah.
Our heading right now is 080, so if we want to do 130, it's more
Sure.
along the...
Along the path, but sideways to the current.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Your laterals are powerful, right?
Oh, big cutthroat eel again?
Another snaffibranchid eel.
It'll zoom in. Okay, I'll come wide, please.
All these fractures. Probably coming from the solidifying of the magma.
Say that again, Greta.
These cracks, I mean, I'm not sure what they could be coming from, but perhaps it's
yeah.
while the magma was solidifying and just cracks, like...
Yeah. just from cooling and
Yeah, exactly.
very long time ago.
Have you guys seen like big basalt flat surfaces like this often?
I've seen this very commonly in other places, particularly Hawaii, places like that, but this is the first seamount we've been on where we've seen this just everywhere here in Palau.
It says a lot about the difference between the east and the west,
It
geologically
could.
speaking.
It could, yeah, definitely. I mean, it would make sense. You're sort of in different placements in relation to the subduction event, the trench.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be able to try one of these rocks, maybe.
Okay.
We'll have to stop the ship again. I don't know, what do you think, Jeff? Anything?
If we zoom wide, is this stuff just talus, or does it look like these are...
I can come up a little bit.
I'm trying to get a better idea. I'm looking at the other camera just to... Well, I will say this, it's probably going to be our best bet because most of everything around here looks like just solid flow. So hopefully this is just crumbled like what in Hawaii we would call a'a lava or something like that that's been crusted with manganese. Yeah, let's try to pick up a piece of it somewhere.
Okay.
And there is might be another large cutthroat eel just north of the outside of the frame.
There you go.
Oh, and here comes the eel.